Doing a nighttime review of the 2025 Hyundai Ioniq 5N. Up to 641 horsepower in the overboost function here. You're running around all the time though with 601 horsepower. The rear motor accounts for 400 horsepower alone. Of course, then the front motor takes up from there. So dual motor, all-wheel drive. Now, I wasn't expecting it to rain last night, so we have wet roads. I'm not going to be able to burn off a 3-second 0 to 60, so we'll see what actually happens. But hopefully I can show a glimpse of its performance on the wet streets. And this semi just came in, and man, he is so loud. All right, so this orange color, I don't know, let me know. Between this color and the blue color, let me know which one you would be getting. I think the blue is kind of like that Hyundai Performance blue. That's kind of a matte color, but man, this orange really stands out. This kind of reminds me of like the Halloween edition. The black and the orange looks great. Blacked out Hyundai logo. You got the N badge up front, looking fantastic. The really sporty front end. Boost the ISO so you guys can see that a little bit better. These headlights are pixelated. The daytime running lights, or should I say, are pixelated, and the headlights are inside those pixelated capsules. It's a gorgeous car. And it helps. Like the base Ioniq 5 is a cool looking car, but this is a true hot hatch. It transformed the car absolutely. I love the blacked out window. Just black and orange just looks so damn good. All right, we got 21-inch wheels here. I want to say these are Pirelli P0 tires. I haven't even looked at the width of them. We have immense amounts of grip. 275 by 35s, ZR21s. So these are really high performance tires. I'm not sure how they're going to hold up here in the rain, but these things look amazing. I love the orange calipers there too. They match this orange paint color perfectly. I got the N badge right there on the back of the side skirt, looking great. Those handlebars suck in when you lock the car and you start driving. I love the lines. The lines of the Ioniq 5 still stand up. Now this is a 25 model, so it has actually some of the refresh stuff that's going on to the non-N model very soon here with the 84 kilowatt hour battery. It's got the rear windshield wiper, thank God. That's been much needed because it's been wet here. It's actually been a kind of a damp winter for us in South Florida. Coming to the back, more pixelized taillights. That's nothing new for the Ioniq 5. You got kind of a light bar that goes around the bottom of it. And you got the N badge right there too. Looks great, looks fantastic. No exhaust tips, obviously, because this is fully battery electric. The handle to get into the hatch is really low though. That might not be a problem for shorter people. This is a true hot hatch. Look at this, guys. Look at this area. You can just shove things into the car. A traditional hatchback, or let's say a crossover, doesn't have this rake here, so it's just you're able to fit crazy objects into this, and then you can fold the seats down if you need to. I've been taking my kids to school, and I'll talk more about my driving impressions when we start driving here. Here's the charger, tire mobility kit back there. You're not gonna have a spare tire in this, so it is what it is, but let's go ahead and close the rear hatch. Get a little button there, which closes it. Let's get in the back seat, figure out what the kids have been enjoying all week. And this is great. This is one of the best door handles ever because the kids can actually just pull on it super easily and open the back doors. Most cars, it's difficult for them to open up. All right. Hyundai Ioniq 5 has always had great ambient lighting in the door handle area. Materials are always great. This does not have the sunshades. I think that might come in the standard model in the upper trims. It's got the ambient lighting around the speakers, which looks great. Come on the inside, you have adjustable, you see this little lever at the bottom, adjustable reclining back seats. Flat floor. There's so much room back here. Now the vents. Yes, we do have vents. They're right there on the B pillar. Appreciate that. Let's close this back door. What does it sound like? Fantastic. Sounds luxury. This vehicle is made. Let's keep this open because I like having the light. This vehicle is made in Korea, of course, probably at the Ulsan plant. You see the N badges back here. And then down here we have USB-Cs. And actually a little checkerboard down there. You see the checkerboard pattern? Very good. Now, this vehicle has some miles on it. I'm very happy that it does because it gives me a better real world idea of how this thing's gonna age. I wanna say this has about 8,800 miles on it. And let's get into the front seat, but check this out. When I open the door, the logo on the seat lights up, which is pretty awesome. You know what you're packing there. Coming into the seat, same sort of materials and stuff on the front door as the back door. We got that blue stitching to accent the orange, which looks amazing. Blue stitching around the seats. Getting that N logo on the seat. Checkerboard pedals down here. Let's see if I can pick it up. It's gonna be tough for the camera to boost size. Oh, there we go. So checkerboard on the pedals. We know that the pixelated squares are everywhere in this car, even on the armrest area. Let's close the door. The Bose sound system in here, by the way, really, really good. Happy with that. You can see we have two 12-inch screens here. I have the N selection up, and we'll play with that today, obviously on the road. This is one of the coolest steering wheels you're gonna see in a production car. This button is to put you in the N modes. This button is for it to behave like a gas car, like a Lancia N, for example. And we have paddle shifters back here that play with regen braking, but once you're in gas mode, then they act as the DCT paddle shifters, which are great. What else? Okay. And then this is your traditional cruise control stuff, interacting with the screen back here. And this is your in-grid boost, which is going to give you the overboost extra 40 horsepower, probably even more torque. You can see your drive select stock behind the steering wheel, and then your park button right at the edge. That hasn't changed. I believe this may have changed on the Ioniq 5, this digital panel here for climate control. I'm not the biggest fan of it, to be honest. I prefer real buttons. And in the daytime, it's hard to see the fan speed. So anyways, I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but if you want to play with your heated and ventilated seats, there they are. You have to pull them up in a sub menu, as well as a heated steering wheel. You have a combo charger down there, wireless charger. This area, I believe, is reworked from the previous model. You have cup holders down there, which are not going to be picked up. And then you have this armrest area with a little bit of storage. But that's about it. I mean, I could talk more about this car. I'll talk more about the specs, the charging, I guess. I didn't even talk about the charging. Maybe I should do that. Let's cut to that. There's a little checker pattern right there. You press and opens up. Freaking badass. It reminds me of a fighter jet. This tells me it's fully charged, and these lights will blink really brightly while you're charging it. It'll shine through your windows like a strobe light. This doesn't have NACS yet. NACS will be on the normal Ioniq 5 for 2025 model year refresh. This still has a CCS level 1, and it can charge at 240 by 48 amps AC charging, so I'll put what that is. That's a lot. And then DC fast charging, 230 kilowatts, something like that. So this thing is still one of the fastest charging vehicles out there. And it actually matters a little bit more here because the range on this car, it's around 220 to 230 miles. And if you're on the highway driving 70, it's probably gonna be less than that, maybe 180. So you drop efficiency here for performance, and we'll start driving it to see if the drop in efficiency is worth it for the performance you might gain. So let's go ahead and start driving the Ioniq 5N. All right, we do have a 360 camera in here that's been actually pretty helpful for doing car line and stuff, parking it, and EV mode here. I'm gonna turn off climate control, don't need it. It is 72 degrees outside, about perfect. I love this dynamic. I accidentally so this battery care thing, if you're setting the car into the drag mode and under the N battery, which I'm not gonna do, or the track mode, it gets the battery up to temperature, it heats the battery up, which absolutely, I forgot I had that on and I never used it, and it was crushing my battery and energy efficiency as it was trying to condition the battery for really high performance modes. You also have in-torque distribution. I haven't played with that. I played with the in-pedal. In-pedal, I just like the traditional, okay, so in-pedal, I would only use it for the track. I'll just say that. In race, haven't messed with that. In drift, I'm not drifting. It's wet out and I don't want to die. And then you can customize all, you fake sounds, ELSD, suspension. You can customize all of that with 2 different customization modes. So, in launch control, okay, that's where that is. We might need that, but the roads are still wet. Yikes, all right. But I do love the efficiency tab. I'm actually here more, I geek out over this screen more than actually the end screen most of the time, because I'm not in mode all the time. All right, so that being said, let's just put it in end mode so you guys can get all of the metrics here and geek out. There's an eco mode in here as well. I hate driving in eco mode. Eco mode, you have to like floor the pedal to make this thing go anywhere. So it really desensitizes the pedal and makes it a very terrible experience compared to normal and sport. The one pedal driving that I'm in right now, it says iPedal Max. iPedal is fantastic. So I adore the one pedal driving this vehicle. I've been driving a one pedal all week long. All right. Okay, well, that comes up, low washer fluid. Sometimes when I'm rodding this car, I get that little chime, low washer fluid. I'm like, oh, okay, it's just washer fluid. It's not like I don't know, messed up the systems in this car. In N mode, it is noticeably stiffer. Of course, you can adjust the suspension. We're gonna get back to N mode. We're going to go to launch control. Again, streets are wet. I'm gonna try to be in like maybe a middle or, so let's see here. Activate, what do I do? Activate, okay, road grip level, oh, maybe not. Road grip level low, activate, and overboost, and let's go. Yep. Wow, that traction control is super impressive. I don't know why I didn't register my 0 to 60 there. That's really strange. I guess we'll have to do it again. That's all right with me. That's all right with me. Maybe we're warming up the tires. That's okay. That's a good thing. But yeah, that's cool that you can adjust the grip level of the road right now. I felt a couple times the front tires spin. I don't know if the rear tires spun there, but the front tires absolutely did. I'm glad I didn't lose my camera, because the camera is not suctioned in. There's no glass roof on this model. There's no sunroof at all. So yeah, I don't know why it didn't register on the drag meter, but that's good. It gives me an opportunity to do it again, and maybe the tires are a tad bit warmer. I will say the one pedal driving in here is noticeably more aggressive compared to the normal Ioniq 5 one pedal driving. It's much touchier. I wouldn't say the maximum braking is that much more, but it's touchier. Okay, so let's just do this again, and shall we go? Yeah, oh my gosh. If I had full traction, guys, so that was still 0 to 60 in 3.78. If I had full traction, I'd be close to 3 seconds there. There's two times within about 15 miles an hour that the front wheels lost traction. All right, so it can still rattle off 0 to 60s with wet roads well under 4 seconds. I mean, even 0 to 100 was under 4 seconds. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour, I should say, was 3.93. So just bonkers amounts of performance here. And I love it. I actually, this is the best electric car I've ever driven from an enthusiast standpoint. And it's not because I can fake gears. I find this mode to be cheesy. I'm glad Hyundai did it, right? I can play with gears. You can feel the gears shifting, right? And then you hit a red limiter, like you run out of a traditional gear. And then you feel that upshift. It's fine. And the engine idles and whatever. And you hear fake exhaust coming through with the pops and bangs like you would in a Elantra N, except the Elantra N has real exhaust. It doesn't sound right. You know, I applaud them for doing this. I think the mechanics they nailed. It's just that the sound is so fake. It sounds worse than like a handheld video game. It sounds terrible. So that's why I don't use it. It's fun, it's cool, but I'd rather just be in a full electric mode. Wow, is it dark up there? So I can talk about brights a little bit. Lows are good, really widespread, very uniform lights. Low beams, upper beams do what they need to. I can see about double, maybe triple the distance, and I can see much higher up too. So that might be an electric BMW right there. Is that an i7? i5? I couldn't tell. Just get into basic N mode. Okay, and the handling in here is bonkers. You have so much grip, even in the wet. And this thing is just a monster. You have, I think, okay, so I've talked about in the past that like in a gas car, you know, 300 horsepower is really, you know, maximum you need. But here I am with double the horsepower. And I'm like, oh, this is the perfect amount for the streets. Because I have endless power essentially for the streets. And I can just blow by any person, any situation that I don't want to be in. Driving this with my kids to school has been the best. I'm going to take it out of the N mode because the suspension is just a little bit too stiff for me right now. That's great. It's great to have this. So like, oh, it softens up so nicely. And even in normal mode, this thing is razor blade sharp with the suspension. This is not quite as stiff. You still have like little to no body roll. But what do I mean? Like, so taking my kids to school has been the most enjoyable experience maybe than any car I've ever driven. Not because it's the most luxurious, it's because I feel like I have way more control over the road and the situation. I feel like I'm almost in my motorcycle, my ZX4RR, because that motorcycle doesn't have like leader bike performance or anything like that, but it has shiftiness and it has maneuverability that I don't get in cars. And it has, I mean, more, I guess, direct inputs. So whatever I put into the motorcycle, I get back like immediately. This car is the same way. It's super communicative. The steering, the handling. I mean, I just think it and it does it. Same thing with the performance. I get off the pedal here and the one pedal braking super smooth. I get onto the gas and I'm just gone like a rocket. All right, the extra space storage company that has like storage lockers. Sorry, I'm looking at it from the side. You guys won't be able to see it, but it's LED lights are doing like a dance. Maybe I can record it real quick. Let's just zoom ahead. It's so fast. It's just so fast and addictive. And you would think with having access to this much performance, my kids would be getting car sick. And the answer is no. I think I've had maybe one complaint this week. Ooh, I like the blue on that BMW EV. I got one or two complaints that the girl's tummy hurts. One of the girls' tummy hurts. But the other two that are more notorious for getting car sick have not been had an inkling of car sickness. It's just amazing because I think it just goes to show you that like this vehicle has such little body roll. So I'm carving up the streets, taking my kids to school like a hooligan because this car's just begging you to, and it has the capability, and it just feels so good when you're doing it. And it's so stable and engineered so well that the kids aren't getting car sick. And I've driven this car more aggressively, I think, than any car they've ever been in. All right, just because it's so easy to do it, and it's so precise, and it does exactly what I want it to when I want it to. It is incredible, all right? So I don't want to stop driving this car. And I can't, but like most EVs, like for EVs, it's never about performance for me. It's about efficiency. So I really like gaming it like a hybrid. I like to see my miles per kilowatt hour. This car, one, it's not efficient to begin with. If you try to be efficient with it, you're going to see 3, maybe 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour if you're lucky in town. And just overboost and we're gone. Like, look at this. Look at that. Like, that is absolutely bonkers. And it's just instant. So it's kind of good to have this as a sports car for every day, because you can get to silly speeds and then just instantly back down. All right, so you're only like going hyper speed for as long or as little as you want to. If I was in like a Civic Si that has 1/3 of the horsepower, it takes forever in comparison to get it up to 90, 100 miles an hour. All right, and that car, I mean, the manual is what that car is really special for, as well as the handling. This is like, I can have the paddle shifters if I want to. It's so cool, man. Oh, such a well executed performance EV. All right, so what are the downfalls of it? Well, let's go back to efficiency. Efficiency is not good. It's not terrible either. But like in a traditional Ioniq 5, I want to say I'm somewhere around 3.5 miles per kilowatt hour. 3.5 to 4, somewhere in that range. And that's all-wheel drive models. Rear-wheel drive models are probably like 4.5 miles per kilowatt hour, something like that, or low 4s. All right, so it gives up efficiency, but you get crazy oodles of performance. You get double the performance of a traditional Ioniq in a straight line, but the handling and the suspension, the steering is just incredible. All right, outside of the efficiency or lack thereof, it's the suspension to a degree. So this car has about 8,800, almost 8,900 miles on it. You guys see I put on 200 miles this week. It can be a bit bumpy in the back, especially. And sometimes I hear some noises. I don't know if it's from the suspension or it's from the cargo area back there. I hear some noises sometimes in my daily driving. And over really bad pavement, you can feel that this car is heavy and the suspension is just doing its best. 84 kilowatts is not a small amount of battery. And I don't even know what this car weighs off the top of my head. I'll put it on the screen for you guys. You can feel the weight. And these motors are huge and these motors are heavy. Now it hides its weight 99% of the time, but every once in a while, like you feel it when the road isn't perfect. And it's just like, man, I can't wait for solid state batteries, because if this is an indication of what performance can be had on a heavy liquid battery, what's going to happen when you have half the weight and equal kilowatt hours, you know? That is mind-blowing. And so we'll get even more fun to drive EVs in the future. And I can't believe how, I mean, I can believe. Why can I believe Hyundai has been able to pull this off? Well, their EVs are some of the best on the market. Best architecture, or some of the best architecture, 800 volt, rear wheel drive biased. And they're just super efficient. They charge fast. And their in-cars, you mix that with their in-cars, like the Elantra in is an incredible vehicle. One of the most fun to drive gas cars under $40,000, if not top 3, right? So you blend that in engineering with their excellent EVs, and it's just like you get a really fantastic performance EV that I had zero aspirations for. I heard a lot of my colleagues in the YouTube game and other journalists say, oh, this Ioniq 5's incredible. It's really, really good. But I don't typically buy into the hype. I wait to drive the car myself. And this car has delivered. And I can't believe how good of a city slayer it is. A city slayer. I almost put in the description like an assault weapon for the street, but like I'd probably get flagged. I still might get flagged for whatever. All right, but it honestly is just so capable and lethal and tied to your desires. You want to go fast, you want to turn sharp, it does it like a razor blade. And like I said, it's been probably the best car I've ever taken from an enthusiast aspect to take my kids to school. I look forward to taking my kids to school, the half-an-hour drive there, half-an-hour back. I do that twice a day, so I'm in the car 2 hours per day, and I've had this for a week. And the comfort's good. These seats are they're stiffer than the normal, but like the bolstering here has never been uncomfortable. It's like I can't believe I'm still like in awe of how good this car is. Now, it is expensive. This one's stickers at $67K. But imagine like, hey, like I wouldn't want to drop that money on it right now, but 2-3 years, we know EVs drop in value a lot, and I think the Ioniq 5 will as well. So like, even at $67K, the amount of performance and happiness I have with this car, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it. But the very few times do I think about buying an EV on the used market, right? Because there's always something greater ahead of the curve. This car is just so good that I'm not wanting for anything more other than efficiency. And I know I'd be burning through tires. I'm sure these tires are not cheap. I'd be burning probably through a set of tires a year would be my guess with the weight of this vehicle, the torque, and added with the torque and the performance. So that's something to consider. But performance doesn't come free. Doesn't come free. There's always a cost. Here it's a cost of efficiency, a cost of tires. So I'm going to end it there. Wow. I can't wait to drive also the refreshed Ioniq 5 that has this battery pack. It gets some updates, better efficiency in theory, some new updates with the vehicle, like NACS charging. That'd be fun to go to Tesla supercharger and plug in an Ioniq 5. That'd be so much fun. Just the looks you would get. All right, I'm shutting it down there. I'm very, very happy with this vehicle, and the complaints I have about it, efficiency, tires, sometimes the suspension, all that goes out the window when I do this. Oh my God. Oh man, oh man, oh man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. I need to wrap this up before I lose traction on these wet roads and do something stupid. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. And I can't wait. What's next? What's next for Hyundai's N division? I don't know, but I'm excited for it. Peace out.